Well, we'll return to our guest now for more analysis on the election debate and the future of the U.S. economy. Betsy Stevenson, Professor of Public Policy and Economics from the University of Michigan. Great to have you back.
Yeah, it's great to be here. So, if you take a look at what's happened in the economy, what happened was we had, without a doubt, really one of the strongest economies the United States has had in February. And that came really to an unbelievable crashing end, the likes that we've never seen before in March. So it's not surprising that there's going to be different stories told about it. But the reality is that, the United States GDP has declined significantly. We saw that, in our second quarter data. It was revised today, but basically telling the exact same story of an economy that declined in the second quarter, and forecasts expect 2020 is going to close lower than where we were in 2019. So it's going to take some time for us to get out of the hole that's come from the pandemic, and we're nowhere near out of it, even though, we're on the cusp of getting some good data. It's just a long way to go, given how bad things got.
So were we able to get anything from the debates that would highlight or perhaps match some of the difficulties that we saw in that GDP data?
I don't think that particular debate was one where they were able to focus a lot on policy substance. So I'm not really sure how to answer that question. I think what we saw in the data is that consumer spending really declined as people stayed home, as people took precautions in order to keep themselves healthy and safe. We've seen people starting to go back out, starting to shop again. One of the things that really helped was the government spending. So Congress passing the CARES Act was really important. But as you've seen, Congress hasn't taken any action since things started expiring in July. And we're starting to see, families suffering again and small businesses that are struggling to stay afloat. And
Right.
so the question will be whether government takes any further action.
Now, obviously, this depends on the sort of recovery we're predicting. We did hear in the debates that Trump was talking about a V-shaped recovery versus Biden talking about a K-shaped recovery prediction. Break down what these are and how people and businesses would experience that in reality.
So we're not getting a V-shaped recovery. A V-shaped recovery is the idea that we're all going to stay home for a few months and then we're going to go back exactly where we were before. That's not happening. We all know that's not happening, because even if a vaccine is approved and discovered by the end of the year, it's going to take many, many months for us to get everybody vaccinated. People are going to take a long time changing their behavior. Being out of work for a year, you don't just snap back from that. So what we saw, and this, I think, all these letters, I think, have started to confuse people. The idea of a K-shaped recovery is, look, we brought a bunch of people who are temporarily laid off back. So the easiest way to think about it is leisure and hospitality. 1 in 2 workers was sent home in March and April. And what we did is brought some of them back.
Right.
But 1 in 4 are still at home. And those 1 in 4 aren't coming back anytime soon. They're not going to be back by the end of the year. They're not going to be even back, I think, by this time March, at least not all of them. So it's that slowdown in recovery. We're going to see a long, slow crawl, which is why I don't think really anyone's predicting that we're back to where we were at the end of 2019 and even in 2021.
I want to make sure we don't run out of time here. So based on the trends that we're seeing then, does this then hasten the need for more immediate stimulus for people and businesses, or does this predictions about the rebound put that on hold until after the election?
I think that we need stimulus now. We can't wait for an election. Even though we know that the candidates are arguing about this, members of Congress need to get together and do something. I don't know anybody of any party who thinks that Congress doing nothing is the right answer. So they need to do something. Businesses aren't going to hang on until the end of January if Congress doesn't take some action now.
All right, thank you so much. Betsy Stevenson there, Professor of Public Policy and Economics at the University of Michigan.